If I write mod x mod x is equal to minus x, is it true? Is it true or false? That's very interesting. Most of you, if you say no, no, it's not true. No, it's not true. When I was a kid, I used to also believe that mod x cannot be negative. Like you, there are many lakhs of students out there who always feel that mod x cannot be minus x. And even there are some adults are also there, they too feel that mod x cannot be minus x. So this is very, very interesting to know about, is it possible or not. How, the idea is that how come the modulus or the absolute value can be equal to negative of something. So from there the idea or the misconception or the conception arises that how come the absolute value of x can be equal to negative. It sounds like contradiction, but in reality it's a mistake. Am I right? And it's a very common mistake. So in this video we'll explore that how the brain reacts on mod x is equal to minus x and why it's reacting like that. Say we are thinking that mod x is equal to minus x, and I'm telling that it's a wrong. Sorry, it's possible. Am I right? There are. It's not. It's true. Am I right? For some values of x or many values of x, it will satisfy. So, but the brain, the psychology always thinks that mod x cannot be equal to minus x. So let's think how it works. What is mod x? So what we'll do in this case, correct? We'll check out that we'll check out that some for some values, whether it's so we'll take x and draw a line, vertical line, try to make a table, and here I'll put mod of x, and here I'll put another line and put minus of x. And let's see, these are the values which will substitute a couple of values so that we understand better. Say if I put 2, this will be 2 and this will be minus 2. And here I'll put a tick and cross showing that whether it's true or not. It's not true because 2 cannot be equal to minus 2. If I go ahead with 1, if I put 1, again minus 1, it's also not true. If I put 0, again 0, so it's also 0, so it's true. So if you look at it, the mod x and minus x both are true when x is 0, isn't it? So I'll write again mod x is equal to minus x. So this is true when x is 0. So there are more values for which this will be 0. Sorry, I'm absolutely wrong. Where both of them will be equal. Again, I tell our psychology tells that mod x means positive. We look at minus x uh, and that it's a negative of x. If I put say minus 1, look at mod of minus 1 is 1. Is it clear? I'm writing the result, and this also will be equal to minus 1. Minus of minus, sorry, plus 1. So this is also true. If I put minus 2, so mod of minus 2 will be 2, and this also will be 2. So it comes around to be how much? True. So again, if I take minus 3, it will be 3. This also will be 3. This. So we are looking at that, isn't it? Let's take for some, you know, some fractional values. Say if I take minus of say 2.9, this will be negative of 2.9. The absolute value will be 2.9 and negative of negative will be surely positive, isn't it? So this is 2.9. It works out. So it's true. So for the fraction values also it is true. The negative fraction values also it is true. So coming back to the point, so if you draw a number line, putting here plus infinity and say here minus infinity, somewhere I'll put 0, here 1, here 2, and if you look at it, it will be true from 0 to negative all the values. So we can say that for x less than or equal to 0 until infinity, the mod x can be equal to minus x. This is by observation we could look at it. So why we think like that mod x is equal to minus x? So the first misconception is that, let's discuss on that part. So the first misconception is that whether minus x is positive or negative. That's very, very interesting. Is minus x positive or negative? This is very, very interesting. When we look at it, we have a, the hindsight, or this is called cognitive bias, that minus x is a negative quantity. But if you look at it, x is a variable. What is variable? The number which varies is called variable. This means it can take 2, 3, 4, minus 1, minus 2, minus 3. So if I take x is equal to say 2, 3, 4, it's correct that minus x will be equal to minus 2, minus 3, minus 4, which are negative quantities. And if I take x is equal to minus 2, minus 3, minus 4, dot dot, minus x will be equal to the positive quantities 2, 3, 4. Right? So minus x can be positive, minus x can be negative. So it's a variable. So what we correlate between these two is like mod x, whenever we take minus 2 in this particular question. So the left hand side is the absolute value, which is better to say positive or 0, or better to say non-negative. Okay. But the right hand, this is non-negative. Right hand, this will be a negative quantity. So positive cannot be equal to negative. So that's the story. In this case, mod x is equal to minus 2. Yes, this is true. The left hand is non-negative, right hand is negative. So no possible solution. No possible solution. That is 100% true. No possible solution. But if I write mod x is equal to minus x, which we have a cognitive bias, we feel this to be like a 2 numeric 2, 3, 4. We forget that this is a variable. This misunderstanding, we have it and we continue to have it. So look at it. If I choose x to be negative, So this right will become minus of a negative quantity, which eventually will be what? A positive quantity. So now the mod of negative also will be this side positive. So both can be possible. This is, we have this bias that always we feel that mod of x is equal to minus x is not possible. So if you take many examples, we come to understand that mod x is not equal to, sorry, mod x is equal to minus x is possible for negative values. Now, we can have an understanding of the absolute value in a better way. Absolute value, what is absolute value? If you jokingly ask me the value which is absolute, that's called absolute value. But to understand better, what we can do it is, let's take a minus infinity, and this side will be how much? Plus infinity. Say this is 0. And at a distance 5, this will be 5. Am I right? Again, at a distance 5 on the left hand side, this point will be minus 5. But the value, the absolute value is how much? 5. So that's either you take the point minus 5 comma 0 or this side 5. It's the positive that matters the most. So the absolute value is always positive. So if I take this part, look at it. Now, suppose I take 0. At a x distance, this point will be x comma 0 if x is positive. If x is positive, this will be x comma 0, isn't it? If x is positive, so the distance is x, fine. If as x is what? Positive. I am writing like this. So now if x is negative, say I take x is equal to minus 5. So this, if I take x is equal to minus 5 where x is negative, so this will come this side, but the distance will be positive 5. So how the positive 5 is coming? It is negative of negative. So the absolute value of, we write as absolute value of minus 5 is equal to 5. So we take a few more examples to understand better. So coming back to the conclusion is that mod x is equal to minus x is true. It's not that it's not true, it's true. For which values of x? For all non-negative values. I'll plot a graph so that you understand better the values. Suppose here is 0 and here is minus infinity. So it is from minus infinity to 0. 0 is closed. I hope you get to understand that how we are doing it. Now we'll do a few more so that we'll have a better idea. Now somewhere it will be written also, look at it. If I write something like mod of x minus 2 is equal to negative of x minus 2. So students, I have a small suggestion. Whenever this kind of thing comes and if you are not able to understand what you do, you can substitute some values and always can do it. That's the most interesting thing you will be able to do so that you understand better without much knowing. You do not have to remember the theory if your understanding are better. So if you look at it, I'll put x Again, I'll put I'll bit decrease the size. Okay. Say this will be mod of x minus 2. I think it's better now. And this will be mod of, sorry, bracket of x minus 2. So the objective is to choose such values of x such that the left hand side and the right hand side both becomes equal. So what's there in the left hand side? In the left hand side it's given that mod of x minus 2. In the right hand side is given mod of minus of negative of x minus 2. Again here may come the cognitive bias, that is x minus 2. A negative of x minus 2, whether it's true or wrong. Suppose if I would have taken 0, it will come 2 and this will come plus 2. If I take 1, it will be 1. This also will be. If I take 2, it will be 2. Sorry, it will be 0. This also will be 0. So what happens here? If I take here any value which is lesser than 2, say minus 1, is it clear? So what comes to your mind that for all the values which are lesser than 2 will satisfy this equation. So it's possible. So you're coming out of the blind side that it's possible or not. Similarly, for plus also we can do it. Mod of x plus 2 is equal to negative of minus of x plus 2. We'll check out whether it's possible or not by by table. So we can take x, and again further we can take x plus 2. Better to take in mod, and again minus of x plus 2. I hope you guys are enjoying because of this misconception. So what we can do it is that if I put 0, look at it, this will be 2, this will be minus 2, it doesn't work out. So you need to check by understanding that for which values of x this will be 0. Say this is minus 2. If I put here, it will be 0. I hope you understand. Now I have to make negative. So I'll put a negative value, say minus 3. So this will be 1. This also will be 1 because minus 3 plus 2 is minus 1. Negative of negative is positive. So lesser the value of minus 2, it works out the best. So if I put minus 4, again look at it, this will be 2, this will be 2. So if you draw the number line, say this is infinity and this is minus infinity, and let's plot the graph, say starts with minus 2, minus 3, minus 4. So what I'm trying to say is that always take the values where it is it's 0 is coming. In this case, at minus 2 it is coming 0. So answer is all the values lesser than or equal to minus 2 till infinity, it is true. I hope you get it, isn't it? Now let's go ahead with some another problem which might be a tricky one to understand the absolute value absolutely. So let's take a red color pen, and if I write mod of x square plus 2 or plus 1, is equal to negative of x square plus 1. So for which values of x this is true? Let's see. So by observation, the way you draw, I do x and here you take x square plus 1 mod and here negative of x square plus 1. If I put 0, this will be 1, this will be minus 1. If I put 1, this is 2, this is minus 2. If I put 2, this is 5, this is minus 5. If I put 3, this is 10, this is minus 10. Okay? So the story comes here, am I right? That it is not, none of the values are satisfying. So if you look at it, the LHS is surely positive. Whether it's with mod or without mod, RHS by observing x square plus 1 is always positive. Am I right? So now negative of x square plus 1 will be equal to negative. So looking into the stuff, LHS never be equal to RHS. It's not possible. So no values of x, it will. So the trick or the understanding is that it is not becoming 0 for any value of x. So we are not able to get any real solution which satisfies negative or so this kind of the cognitive bias, generally the students we have, when I was a student also I too have this kind of bias. Then later I realized that if you take observations, it's very with some values of x, it makes easy for us to understand this kind of concepts. So today what all I taught, look at it. So I just asked in the beginning that whether mod x is equal to is minus x possible or not. So this was the question which I started and hope you enjoyed that question. Fine. So this and I taught you about the cognitive bias. So we as a student will have lot of misconceptions like this. If you work on this misconception with lot of understanding, I'm sure you'll be very, very good at maths. And you'll do whenever you write any examination, there will be less chance to do mistake. Students, if you have any topic or any misconception, please text it, text to us. We will make a video on that. Thank you for watching. Thank you very much.